Welcome to episode number 247 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We are recording September the 8th, 2024. My name is Eric, host of the show based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and computer geek. As a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events and started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
And I'm Jeff. I am based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, a ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and a weather nerd.
And I'm Brad. Excuse me. I'm Brad. I'm in Eastern Ontario, part-time amateur prepper, constantly trying to better myself.
If you want to support the show, buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the tactical Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All the proceeds help cover our podcast costs.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and submit a review wherever you may have found us. We want your feedback, even if it's bad. We also invite you to reach out and tell us something that you learned this week. You can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
All right, so we're going to start out with some relevant news articles. We'll update you on our personal preps since the last episode. We're going to get into the main topic. I'm not going to say the evil snow word. We're just going to get ready for fall.
I like that better.
Yeah.
But winter is coming, just in case you were wondering.
I know.
Yeah.
Every year.
All right, so I'll start the news section off here. Looks like a little bird decided to cause a little bit of havoc out Vancouver way and caused a bit of a power outage. So just a little reminder that little critters can cause some interesting things to happen.
70,000 people out.
8,000?
Yep.
70,000.
70,000.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was being a little sarcastic when I said it was a little event. Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding. How big was the bird?
Doesn't say.
Turkey. That size, do that? No. It all depends. You know, it's power outages caused by animals are, I wouldn't say they're common. They're not that common. Obviously, they do happen. There was one in Toronto. My brother, his place went down, and it was a squirrel that decided to walk across the transformer. But by the time it got to the other side of the transformer, its tail was still touching the wire on the other side. Yep. So yeah, it did it out. But it's not that uncommon, but just shows you the fragility of our infrastructure. They want all this electric stuff, and
a single bird can take us down.
70,000 people, like, come on.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw a good one. I saw a good one.
All the reason to have your generator. And go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, there was not a stork. It might have been a heron or a crane. Landed on top of a larger transformer, and then reached down and touched with its beak one of the wires, and instantly, poof, gone. Mm-hmm. And all the lights went out.
Yep.
That'll happen.
Oh, yeah.
But all the more reason to have a generator and know how to use it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Just for stuff like this.
I have 3.
And let me guess, you've tested them all and you know how to use them.
Yes.
Wow. Look at that.
I have.
Well, I've got a couple of quick items, more or less, more supply chain issue stuff. And I mean, we just kind of really finished that whole rail fiasco of going on strike, not going on strike, go on strike. The government says, nope, we're not going to step in. Nope, we're not going to step in. They go on strike. They're on strike for 18 hours. Okay, we'll step in now. Anyways, Air Canada pilots are looking to strike. I believe they are eligible to strike anytime after the 18th of September. I know there's a lot of back and forth, and again, not getting into employee relations and all that stuff. The company is saying, Air Canada is saying they've offered them a very, very lucrative pay increase and course, the union says it's not enough. You never know who to believe. But anyways, at the end of the day, we could be looking at another airline strike. Who knows whether the government steps in like they did with WestJet, whatever, who knows. But that's just something to be aware of if you're looking at jumping onto a plane or, cargo carriers and that kind of stuff. They'll be grounded. So
yeah, well, now that the rail is operational, maybe they'll just send everything that way.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
We'll find out.
It still sucks.
Yep.
Right.
What else you got, Jeff?
So on that supply chain issue, the second one is the East Coast port workers. So all the workers that unload the cargo containers and ships and all that stuff on the East Coast. They had the labor disruption on the West Coast last year. This one is the East Coast. They can strike as of the 1st of October. So I'm hearing reports that companies are already rerouting their ships and their cargo ships to the West. Of course, the problem there is they can't handle the extra load. So again, could be looking at some supply chain issues. I hate to use the C word, but now, stuff for Christmas is starting to come in, and it's coming in on the boats. And so you're not going to be able to get it.
Starting to come in. Half of it's already here.
Well, yeah. I was kind of being generous, but yeah, you're right.
And I got to point out, we're just shy of 7 minutes in, and we've already mentioned snow and Christmas, and it's September.
Yep.
Damn it.
Welcome to Canada.
Have a nice day.
Yep.
Yeah, where you get all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. Yep. So, unfortunately, you mentioned, Eric, just before we hit the button there, that we shouldn't mention that S word that goes along with what's going to come soon in the wintertime. Yeah, the wife saw that this afternoon.
Yeah,
very briefly, only a few minutes. Nothing really touched the ground, kind of thing, and stayed. It was just kind of wet the ground a little bit, but yeah, it came down very briefly, and people were kind of surprised. And what are you surprised about? It's going to come regardless. Just get used to it.
Yep, just get ready for it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, last night, I shouldn't say it, but just in the North Bay area, some people near the North Bay airport said there was just a skiff accumulation that was coming on the vehicles. Nothing on the ground because the ground's still too warm. Yeah. But a vehicle or something that cools with the temperature, it was sticking there a little bit.
Oh God. Well, like I said, it's coming. Can't do much about it.
Yep. Well, we're going to take a second and just shout out. We got Rip in the live chat saying, I really enjoy the show. So appreciate that. Thanks for coming out and watching it live.
Where are you from, Rip?
Yeah, we'll see what comes back there.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice to know how far we get.
Yeah. But how about we move into what we've done lately for preps? We'll kick off with Brad.
I haven't been here for a little while. I've been pretty busy. Schedule's been, although the last 2 weeks have been nice. They've been kind of slow, but I finally got my shed wired with actual electrical power. I had buried the line a couple months ago, got around to wiring everything. Everything works very well. My shed is still standing and not a charred piece of crap. Been doing work in my basement, make a bedroom for the older child here. Looking at from Ontario via PI, says. Been looking at getting a window put in for that basement room. Going to go order that with the older child tomorrow at Home Depot. Bit of gas rotation, just cleaning stuff up. We did a big push in the basement to get things cleaned up and made a thrift store run to get rid of said stuff. Just chugging along, prepping for the inevitable white stuff that comes down and living life. Jeff, what have you been up to?
Excellent. Well, I got out to the fish camp this last week with Eric and a few buddies, and for an abbreviated holiday, I have no problem admitting that it was wet, it was rainy, it was cold, and it was like I have had enough of this. Not saying I'm a fair weather guy, but I'd had enough, and we cut it a little bit short and came home a day early. And I think that was a good call when it was like only +2 at night, and you're in a tent and it's raining, and yeah, just that's no fun. I've been working a lot the last couple of weeks on trying to clean up the firewood at my house. Every time I get it cleaned up, my arborist friend calls and says, "I'm doing another job down the road. You want some wood?" He got me last week. I got 2 trailer loads, dump trailer loads. So, a 9-foot dump trailer load. And he says, "Well, I got a couple, I'll drop some off with my company truck." Okay, no problem. 3 company truck drops later. So now we've got 6 loads of firewood sitting on my side lawn. So I've got quite a bit of work to do. Get them out of there before it snows, hopefully, or at least get it enough that I can get in and out of my garage and not have an issue. So
sounds like you need a case of beer and a friend to come over, Jeff.
Well, you never know, do you?
You might want to bring your saw with you.
Oh, hey, you might know.
I can run the saw, and he can run the wood splitter. So
yep,
there you go.
True. Yep.
Figure it all out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for myself, it's been pretty crazy with work and more work. Ended up on the other side of the world for a conference. That was kind of cool. And then got out to the fish camp there with Jeff, and like you said, it was cold. But it helped just kind of show us that sometimes the weather is going to win, and we're going to kind of prepare a little bit better for different types of weather for the next time around. It's the first time we've been I guess chilled out would be the best way to put it, but now we know we'll pack a heater. We've got some plans for the future. But it wasn't without testing some ham radio stuff, because
of course,
I have to do that when I'm camping. Like, it's just a requirement. So messed around with WinLink, which is email or a digital mode over ham radio. Was able to make contact with Scott, one of our panelists here. I sent him a quick message, and he was able to reply to me. Routed that email from was it Wisconsin? Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah. And we were up in and around North Bay area. So it was kind of cool. So got that done. And then we were also able to get in contact with a ham operator back down our way that we know from the local club, and just ask him for a weather report. And that was kind of the deciding factor for us that, it's time now to pack up and go. And he was pretty much bang on with the information he gave us. We started to pack up, and right about the time he said downpour was coming, it hit us. So it was good to get that info, because we get most of the stuff packed up before that downpour came our way. So
yeah,
that was useful to get, because where we were, there's no cell reception, there's no nothing. You're not getting your internet, you're not getting your weather reports, you're not getting any of that. But we do have access to the local repeater, which is interconnected with a whole bunch of repeaters that would get us pretty much right down to downtown Toronto. So it was kind of neat that way to be able to get some information relayed, get a report, and make a decision with it. So at least I know my setup works. But we got to plan out a little bit more. Learning opportunity. Bring some heat next time.
That new setup with the antennas worked well, though.
Sure did. Yeah, that was fantastic. So
little picture you put up on the chat.
Yeah. I'll put some pictures of the setup in the Discord as well. So if anybody's interested in seeing it, I'll toss the pictures up there, and you can have a look. So. But yeah, it worked out very, very well. We were able to hear a bunch of stations in like Italy and France and Portugal as well. While we were all sitting in our trucks trying to warm up because it was cold. Nice. I just ran the coax into the truck and ran the radio in the truck, and we made a few contacts while we were sitting there warming up. So, but it was good to see that setup works, and the digital side of it works as well. So we can make contacts via email and via voice still. So yeah, it was cool.
Nice. Speaking of Scott, how's he doing?
Good. Yeah, he's good. He's busy with the little ones, but sounds like he's doing all right. So hopefully we'll see him back again on the panel as soon as things kind of settle down. But he's been busy with the
If
new
we
edition.
decide to do a gasifier ×2 episode, he'll show up.
I think that's how we'll get him. Yeah, we have to do a gasifier ×2. Yeah, then we'll get him back for sure. Ian, for those of you that were worried, he has done CGN deals recently. I know we haven't heard from him in a little while. He was going to be here tonight, but he had to take off for a little emergency he's got on the go. So he does have in the notes here that he did do a CGN deal. So everyone can calm down. He's clearly kind of coming back to normal, whatever normal is for Ian. But yeah, he did a CGN deal. So all is right in the world here for a little while anyways. All right. So with that, let's move into the main topic, shall we? Like I said, we're not going to say the evil S word here because we're not talking about winter time and snow quite yet. Oh, I said it, but hey.
Yeah.
But we're getting darn close. And with that whole fishing trip thing going on where we had the cold snap, it was a good reminder that fall is here and it's time to kind of start looking at your preps and kind of switching them around. We always like to do seasonal episodes just to get everybody's mindset into the next season that's coming. Make sure that you're getting all your stuff switched over to the new season and that all your preps are ready to rock and roll for what is coming up next. And it's always a good reminder to give you a little kick to start reorganizing and getting ready because pretty soon you're trading in your umbrellas for shovels. So
Old Man Winter is making his way here.
Sure is. I prefer the other side of this when we're doing the prep shows for the summertime and getting rid of all your winter stuff.
Yeah.
But, hey, we'll be there soon enough.
Yes, Denny. Denny definitely has a good comment there in the chat.
Yeah. Snow, Mother Nature's dandruff. Yep. You're not wrong, Denny. You're not wrong. So I got a good long list here of things. Ian did put a couple of things in as well. I know Brad and Jeff also have a couple of notes here. We'll just do it the usual way. We'll just open the floor. It'll be just an open conversation. We don't have to go through things one by one or just have one of us chat at a time. So feel free to jump in whenever. We'll just take the conversation that way. And live chat as well. If you got anything you want to throw in or something we're missing or something you want to comment on, feel free. We'll get your comment up on the screen here and we'll read it out for everybody else. So it doesn't just have to be the three of us on the panel. Everybody, all 12 of you sitting in the live chat right now are welcome to jump in as well.
There you go. So, it'd be interesting to see what, even though we've put a bunch of stuff in there, and I know I haven't even looked at everybody's, just had a good glance at it, but I can tell everybody's got probably 10 to 15 things that are all the same. But it'd be interesting to see from the panel as well, from the live chat, what else we might do. Somebody's, hey, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, or those of you that are listening after the fact, after the live show, toss it into feedback at prepperpodcast.ca and we'll get it into the next episode as kind of a follow-up to this one. And then that way you can be involved in the conversation as well. But let's kick off with gear and clothing prep because we're going from, warmer weather to colder. So you're going to start looking at, unfortunately getting rid of those flip-flops. And I know there's some of you that are hardcore flip-flop, like die-hard fans. They're going to wear them all winter. Don't yell at me. Most are going to switch it out. And, you're flipping the flip-flops out for shoes and boots and all that good stuff. You're getting into layering again. Yeah. Socks and sandals. Sure. If you want to be that guy, Brad.
No. Yeah. Crocs and sandals.
Oh, where's the kick button?
Yeah,
Crocs and socks. I have seen that. Seriously, I've seen that in the middle of January where a long haul trucker got out of his truck in Crocs and socks and kicked his doors open, backed into the dock, and then sat in his truck the entire time. The receiver came out and banged on the door, signed the paperwork, and the guy left.
I'm sure they were safety Crocs.
Oh, absolutely. They were nice, bright pink.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. One of the it's funny you mentioned that. I wasn't going to pick on Muffin, but I will. He's one of the guys that goes to the fish camp. That's his nickname. Yes, that's his nickname. We are all freezing, and he's wandering around in shorts and sandals with no socks, and it's like +4, and it's wet and it's muddy, and it's like, dude, I will put my hat to you. Yeah.
And an important key thing to this. Also sober at the time.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, that's
Oh, he was.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
the morning. Yeah.
yeah,
Shortly thereafter, probably not, but at the time, yep.
yeah.
But
So
no,
that
that's
moves into the importance of, as we discussed, footwear. So time of year, waterproof and insulated boots, especially waterproof. I mean, the last thing you want is your feet being wet when it's really, really cold. You know, nothing wrong with getting a soaker in the middle of July, but you don't want it in the middle of December. So, you know, have some waterproof boots. Again, if you're gonna do that, yep, change the socks, dry socks.
Yep.
So
Snow falls in
yeah.
December
Yep.
here. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
one.
true.
It's always muffin time.
It is always muffin time. Oh,
But yep. Keep
yeah.
going.
No, I was just gonna say, and keeping with the weather we had, rain gear, windbreakers, gloves.
Umbrella.
Yeah.
Those little dollar store
Unexpected,
ponchos and dollar store
anything
foil
to keep
blankets.
you dry. Those unexpected cold snaps or that cold rain, you're gonna wish you had something.
yep. And don't forget to swap the stuff out in your car that you might be carrying around now. If you have that extra set of flip flops or extra set of shoes or something like that that wheels around with you, flip those out for the boots and you know, the snow pants and that kind of stuff, because it's time to look at the vehicle as well and flip around your clothing and gear that you might take there, but also your day-to-day gear that that you use every single day.
I took my truck bag. That's the Rush 24. I took that out 2 weeks ago, and I've started to slowly go through that, knowing that I'm not going far for work or for pleasure
Yep.
in the next little while. So start to slowly go through that and change some of the snacks out, get rid of them, put a fresh bottle of water in there, put some extra socks, change of clothes, that kind of thing. Do all of that and put it back in the truck probably by the end of next week, when we know that the weather's going to really start to dip now, just to be prepped for it, that I've got it all, don't have to worry about it, ahead of the curve.
Yep.
So
Perfect. Next on the list. Oh, go ahead, Brad.
That and prepping the snacks and water and whatnot is also at your work. Do the same thing. Bring a little bag into work with some extra snacks. Put it in your desk. Bottle of water or two. Never know when you might get stuck there overnight. Change of clothes, especially with that old man winter bearing down on us pretty quick.
Oh, we got a good point in the live chat here from Hunting Upland. We'll talk about EDC, or everyday carry, and gear. There's no mention of dry bags. Fantastic point. Get a bag that's going to keep your stuff dry. Waterproof bag, right? Perfect.
Valid point. Obviously,
Yep.
for sure. When we missed, good catch.
Yep. No, and all it takes is a little bit of snow on, like, even the bag that Brad was talking about there, the Rush 24. Gets snow on it, you toss it in the car or back in the house, the snow melts, it gets damp, it gets wet, everything in the bag is now damp and wet, which then makes you miserable, more so miserable than usual, right? So
especially with the fact that you have that bag with all your extra stuff in it that you're hoping is dry.
Yep.
And now you open it and it's moldy, musty, and wet.
Yep.
Well, now what?
Fantastic point.
So absolutely.
Home preparation. So, you know, you got your clothing all figured out. You got kind of your gear flipped over. Some of the gear is going to be the same all year round. Some of it's going to be different, right? But getting your house ready to go as well, or your apartment, or wherever it is you're living, is an important thing too, because there's lots to get done before the snow flies, and we're getting into like the stupid minus weather then versus what we've got right now. But just like some basics of sealing windows, doors, making sure your pipes are properly insulated, that kind of stuff, preventing drafts, just getting energy energy loss kind of covered, because that's something you could do for summer preps too, and getting into the warmer weather. If you're running air conditioning, you don't want drafts as well, right? But in the wintertime, it could be a little bit more detrimental, because you're getting into some pretty cold weather depending on where you live. So just making sure that everything's kind of looked after and is in good order, right? This is just basic home maintenance. This isn't anything crazy. Just making sure things are sealed up, ready to go, because you don't want to draft in the dead of winter, kind of freezing you out.
So all of those things you just said is all about the inside of the home.
Mm-hmm.
About the outside of the home, get up on your roof. If you've got shingles, check for loose shingles. See if you can replace them before the snow and ice gets underneath them and starts damaging. Or the winds. We all know the winds. Jeff's the weather guy here. We all know the winds are going to kick up.
I'll just say safely get up on your roof.
Yeah.
Make sure you're tying off, all that kind of stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Bring your ocean handbook with you.
Or hire someone that knows what they're doing if you're not comfortable getting up on the roof. But yeah, check it out. Or even just visually check it from the ground.
And then, get up on a ladder, clean your gutters of all the summer crap that's gotten into them, because we know more leaves and dirt and everything is going to get into them.
Yep.
So make it clean for all that rain that we know is coming. We know Ian does it at his place. He has a fire break all the way around his property, which is great. Yep. But right now the leaves are still on the trees. So have a good look in the undergrowth, like underneath the tree, and look up and see what branches are dead right now. Take care of them now.
Yep.
The snow load on them won't make them come down on top of your roof.
Great point.
Yep. If you can afford it, go and get another pack of shingles and some roofing screws, some shingle screws or shingle nails, or a good size, good thickness, good quality tarp, and again some nails. If you do get a hole in your roof, you can at least patch it till you can get it fixed. Or it's in the night, tree comes down again, you can at least patch it, seal it up, kind of thing. On the outside,
suggesting being prepared for something. Interesting podcast of choice to do that on.
Yeah. And that's good. I know Jeff would definitely agree with me on this one, with the next one, the third one down there, the firewood of cleaning your chimney.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that when we touch the next spot on the heating system. So
yep.
Still, take her away.
Yep, which is check and maintain your heaters, whatever you use, whether it's an oil furnace, a gas furnace, whatever. I would suggest having an expert come in and have a look at it. You never know what may have happened to it over the summer. I know my parents many years ago, they had a gas furnace, and the first time it got cool and they turned the gas furnace on, it didn't take very long and the carbon monoxide detector went off because there was a split in their firebox that occurred over the summer. So they're not sure exactly what happened, but they figured as soon as they lit it and they put heat on it, it cracked. And so,
I'm just going to say 20 minutes in, or 28 minutes in, we've mentioned carbon monoxide. Somewhere, Alan is smiling.
Yes. Yep. Wood stoves. Brad said it. If you've got a wood stove, make sure that your chimney is clear.
Yep.
Nothing causes more problems than the critters building a nest in your stovepipe over the course of the summer. You don't know it's there. You haven't checked it.
They're quiet about it. They don't they don't draw attention to it.
You light your fire, and all of a sudden, either your house is full of smoke because your chimney's totally blocked, or they've built it. Usually they build them out of sticks and leaves and stuff like that. That if there gets enough heat up that chimney, could potentially catch that on fire. And then you're going to have a fire in a place you don't want it. And if you haven't cleaned it and it's got creosote in there, now you're into a chimney fire and you're into a whole bunch more problems. So, make sure that you get up there and you get that chimney cleaned before you light your first fire of the season. And obviously, talking about heating systems, make sure that you have some sort of a backup power or heating source. We're getting into winter. If you're, even though you may have a gas furnace, the blower that gets that hot air from the basement where your furnace is to the second floor where your bedroom is not going to operate unless you have a generator or a whole home generator or some kind of a standby generator or some way to make it work. So, a lot of those furnaces, gas water heaters, those kind of things, they have a safety on them. Power goes out, they shut off, they won't come on for
the burner won't light
carbon monoxide reasons. So and the last one I'll touch on this. It says stockpiling firewood, preparing your firewood or alternate heating fuels. I will say this: if you haven't prepared your firewood by now, you're done. It's not, unless what you find has been standing dead for a couple of years, chances are it's not going to be dry enough to burn this year. It will burn. You'll hear it sizzle. The problem with that is you're putting creosote in your chimney. And that's where you get your chimney fires and stuff like that, is from burning unseasoned wood. Most dead wood, like the ash I got, it's dead. I would never burn it this year. I'll give it at least 6 months to season. Next year it'll be great. But unless that's the last thing you have and your life's on the line, you should not be burning unseasoned firewood. You're just asking for trouble.
Yep.
Good to know.
Even though I agree with you, Jeff, if you haven't got your firewood by now, you're kind of screwed. One thing to keep in mind, for somebody who is in a pinch and doesn't have firewood or is looking for it should the power go out and they don't have enough wood to keep going with, pallets, lumber.
Yep.
Hit up a construction site. Get permission to go dumpster diving. If they'll allow you, take lumber, cut it up. A handsaw still gets you good exercise and still makes good firewood for you. Still cuts it to a good length to be thrown into a fire.
Yep. Obviously, you need to be careful of not using pressure treated wood, but
yes.
Again, if you're in that pinch,
you got to use what you got to use.
It's not great, but
still keep you warm.
Better than nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And where would we be if we didn't start talking about food? Because that's definitely a thing.
Starving.
We'd be starving is where we'd be. That's right. So getting your garden cleaned up. We've done a couple episodes now in the past. If you want to go through the library and check them out on gardening and such, but just doing that cleanup, making sure that everything is ready to, zipped up and ready to go to bed. So it's ready for the spring and for you to plant again, and getting everything kind of canned and ready to go in the shelves, because once winter's here, there's nothing better than having a pantry full of freshly canned vegetables and such ready to rock and roll on a cold night, right?
Yep. Go back for a second there. Your garden cleanup. Definitely clearing out all the dead plants and whatnot, and till it. And then add more leaves, add more leaf litter, add more lawn litter, whatnot, and till it again and put all that nutrients back into the ground to decompose over the winter. Till it in the spring maybe, and I think, and then you should have some nice good soil to be planting with.
Oh, Brad, you're just going to go down that whole big rabbit hole of tell and no tell. You're going to get yelled at from somebody.
I don't care about that. Do what you want to do, but it's something that people do.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I can hear Melissa yelling right now. Something about buffalo maple. Oh man, I can't talk.
Yeah.
Buffalo maple. Yeah, and tilling the garden. Just don't till the garden.
But see, I have it on good authority from somebody else that Melissa actually knows as well, especially for me here, that my garden is probably 6 feet tall of weeds right now, and let it die out, till it, put a cover over it, let it sit for the winter, fluff it, not really till it in the spring, but fluff it up, plant your seeds. You should be good to go.
Yep. Are you suggesting that different things work for different people?
Yes, different strokes.
Wow.
For different folks.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know this through experience and testing things while times are good.
Yes,
Look at that.
and I definitely agree with you though that once you've harvested everything, to do your seed storage, collect the seeds, do what you have to dry them out.
Yep.
Do what works for you.
Yep.
Follow it, and good luck with your seeds in the spring.
Yep.
Yep.
And right now is a good time to go and buy seeds.
So,
A lot of them be on sale. People be clearing them out from different stores, different places. So
good point.
Get them, seal them up, keep them for next year, throw them back on the ground. Everybody's rushing for seeds, and you've already got yours in the ground. So why not?
Well, fantastic point.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of touched on vehicles at the beginning there with clothing and swapping out your go bag or get home bag or whatever you want to call it, bag that you carry around in the car. But even just seasonal maintenance, right? Getting your car in for that oil change, getting it in to get the like the antifreeze checked out, undercoating. If you really want to start fights tonight, Brad? You know, if you want to get your undercoating done, if that's your thing, because some people say it's not worth it at all. Some people swear by it. It's whatever works.
I've never done them on my vehicles. I've had one vehicle that had it done for years, and we had it for 2 winters, and there's nothing wrong with it. But all of my other vehicles, I've never undercoated. There's never a problem with them. But like I said, it's to each their own. It's just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe in doing it, then hey, maybe it says now is the time to do it.
If you feel good about it, you go for it. I get mine sprayed. It's totally up to you. It's swapping out your winter tires, your all season tires, checking your fluids, doing all just that basic stuff. It's not to be anything hardcore. Making sure your washer fluids all topped off. Just taking the time to be comfortable that you are ready to go, because the driving season is changing and things are going to be different. And we always try to say that we forget how to drive in winter the first couple of weeks, because a lot of people do.
Yep. And one for me at least, important thing we didn't touch on there in your seasonal maintenance is your battery. If your battery seems a little bit weak, if it's more than 5 or 6 years old, I would change it. Last thing you want to do is get caught in that minus 30, because we all know cold degrades batteries significantly.
Great point.
And you leave work at 11 o'clock at night in the middle of a snow-filled parking lot, and your car won't start. So
booster packs.
Yep.
Those little Nocos are small enough that it can sit in my lunchbox.
Yep.
I can have that in my lunchbox. It comes in and out of the truck, the trucks, and into the house and whatnot. It'll always stay warm. It's an easy thing to check once a week to see if the battery is still full on it. And then while you're driving, you can be charging it as you're going to work to make sure that it's charged.
Yep.
So you're not going to be in a pinch.
Worth their weight in gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So much easier than having to find another vehicle, drag out the booster cables. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, but there's still a pain to do it when it's minus 30. If you know your battery's bad, just bite the bullet.
Look after it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with that.
Yep.
I have a brand new battery in my truck, and my big truck, my work truck, has 3 of them. I'm not worried about that. But yes, Jeff, you are still absolutely right that I've even used my big truck to boost small vehicles on the side of the road because they were stranded. Now I'm going to stop. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass, but now I know that person's going to get off the road and get home.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, updating your emergency kit as well. We kind of touched on the clothing thing, but get the ice scrapers and the snow brushes out because we're going to need them soon. So time to get them in there now. Looking into your emergency food, figuring out what you want to carry for hydration, and figuring out how you're going to get that in and out of the vehicle, because it's time to remind yourself that if you got a bunch of water or Powerade or whatever you tend to carry in the warmer months, it's going to freeze soon. So getting your mindset back into that and just figuring out what you're going to do. But yeah, it's just little things like that. Just reassessing and making sure all's good with your kit.
Yep. Hand warmers.
Oh yes, again talking about worth weight in gold.
Hot hands and hot toes.
Sure,
whatever they're called.
Sure. Yep.
I've even seen some abdomen ones.
Yep.
that you can place underneath your sweater, around your lungs, your heart, stomach, whatnot, and on your back, your spine. That
even the little ones that say they're for hands, you can put them wherever you want.
Oh yeah,
and I'll
absolutely.
leave that up to your imagination. But
I have because I'm outside a lot in the wintertime, especially on the forklift, and I'm up higher in the wind and all the rest of it, that I have a insulated heated jacket.
Yep.
That it never leaves the truck once the temperature goes down below -10. It's in the truck constantly, and I have 2 battery packs that stay constantly in my lunchbox just for that purpose, that I can last for 8-10 hours out in -20, 25 weather.
Beautiful.
And not be cold. I might be chilly, but I'm not going to freeze. I'm not going to be chattering and really horrible. I'm going to be comfortable inside that and do my job.
Very nice.
So,
again, first aid kits, it's always good to go over those as the seasons change. Just as a reminder, as the seasons change, you're already checking things, you're already rotating things. Check out your first aid kits, whether it's one you carry in your vehicle all the time, it's one that you keep at home all the time, it's one that's in your get home bug out, whatever bag you want to call it. Just check the contents, make sure that everything that you think is in there, and replenish anything that you may have used over the last little while. So I always like to use the seasonal changes to do that. So
yeah. And again, the extra blankets in there, the hand warmers, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, put them in there, keep them in there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Doesn't take up that much room.
Nope. Of course, with the seasons changing, the colds are going to start spinning around again. Kind of stocking up on some cold and flu medication while you can is always a good idea. You probably have already some, since everyone listening to this is in some kind of preparedness mindset. But again, looking at your first aid kits and looking at your cold flu medications to make sure you got stuff on hand can't hurt.
Dare I say a mask?
Yes, you dare say it.
If it's your thing, it's your thing. Sure. Yep.
Why not?
Yeah. Another big thing with the winter months is you're going to get into cold and cruddy weather where you're not going out, you're not doing all the fun stuff you do throughout the winter. So and the days are shorter, right? It's colder weather. It's going to have an impact even on your mental health. So just getting ready for that, right? It hits everybody every year. It's the days get shorter. It's darker at 4:45, 5 o'clock. It's dark. It's cold. It's miserable. So just getting yourself in that mindset now. I know we've talked a lot about mindset here, especially since we had Don Mann on. It's kind of, we talked about it in the past before, but really with him coming on, it's important. Getting yourself ready for the winter months is
along that note. Go to if you can, if you're wanting to, go to the thrift shops and pick up some board games.
Right.
Pick up. I love to read. I used to read all the time. I could finish a 500-page book in a day without an issue. I have, I want to say, 10 good-sized novels, 500-600 pages, that have been given to me as gifts over the last, say, 10 years. I have yet to crack their spines, only for the reason of, if the power goes out, I have something that'll keep my mind off of the real world, so to speak, for a little while. Like Jeff has said, you start the fire. You're sitting by the fire doing nothing. All you got to do is sit there and keep the fire going to keep everybody in the house warm. Read a book. Yeah.
Why not?
Get some card games, get some board games. Even a simple game of checkers, tic-tac-toe with your kids passes the time away. You get a little bonding time, little family time in there too, and you forget about what's really going on around you. Your mental health got better. You stayed on track. You kept going. You survived.
It's true. Yep. Very good points.
Yeah.
And of course, with the winter season coming, we're always ready for this, but having some source of backup power, right? It's power outages happen all year round, no matter what the season is. Like we had that news article at the beginning of this with the bird taking out power for a little bit there, right? But they do happen a little bit more frequently in the wintertime, especially with the heavier snows and some of the nastier storms that we get come through. So having stuff ready to go, making sure your backup generators. This is the perfect time of year now. It's still fairly warm out, not stupid warm. You can get outside, fire up your generators, load test them, make sure that they're working the way that they should be. Make sure you know how to start them, figuring out where you want to put them, how you're going to run power cables into the house if you need to, and just making sure everything works. Best time of year to do it. It's perfect weather for it, right?
Another aspect to that too, of taking them out and doing your maintenance on them and everything. If you are the one that does all of that maintenance, and you are normally the one who hooks up the generator to the house, bring the husband, the wife, the kids out.
Hmm.
Hey, this is where it is. This is where it's stored. This is the fuel we put into it. This is how you check the fuel. Bring it outside. This is how we start it. This is how we hook it to the house.
Perfect. Yep.
Here's the big chain to chain it to the truck so nobody steals it in the middle of an ice storm, like happened.
Here's where the
24
gas
years ago.
goes. Here's where the gas cans are.
Yes.
Right?
Refresh everybody in the household, even if they can't start the generator or pull it out or even fill it. They know where it is.
Yep. Exactly.
Somebody is staying over at your place for the night, or house sitting or babysitting.
Yeah.
Power goes out. What do you do?
Yep. Here
The
it
little
is.
5-year-old knows where the gas can is for the babysitter who's 17 years old. Hey, this is how we do this and that and this. No issues. Your 5-year-old saved your butt.
Yep. Exactly. And where would we be without talking about communication systems?
Board sitting at a screen with nothing on it.
Yep. No, you want to make sure that you've got some form of communication system. Dare I say ham radio? But,
you.
I know, right? But making sure that those are all ready to go in a power outage. They're again worth their weight in gold. Even if it's just like a local little FRS walkie-talkie, some kind of communication. Make sure that it works. Everybody knows how to use it. Same kind of thing we mentioned with the generators. Run them through usage. Run them through. If this happens, we're going to use this. We're going to do this. And make it fun. It doesn't have to be a tedious. Oh my God, the world's ending. Let's go test all these things now. Make it fun, right?
Yeah.
It's just day-to-day things.
Why not?
And then of course you can check out security and such as well around your place. It's a good time to review it and make sure all is good. All your security cameras are operating, any kind of security mechanisms you have in place, gates, doors, locks, just again, regular seasonal maintenance, right? Just make sure everything's good.
Perfect time to go and grease out all those things up for the winter.
Yep.
Like you said, make sure everything works. Sure. And look around, like you were saying, cameras and lights and whatnot. Make sure there's no trees and branches in the way. Nothing's going to fall down on them.
Again, this is the perfect weather right now to get out and cut those branches down and do some outside maintenance. Not too hot, not too cold. It's just right. Yep. Except this past weekend when it was stupid freezing. But hey,
yeah.
Anyone have any other
I got a couple of quick things I should have mentioned that were in my list, but I missed them. Around your vehicle, always make sure your fuel tank is as full as it can be. Right. Don't let yourself get down to a quarter, an eighth of a tank.
Half is empty, especially in the wintertime.
Absolutely. I mean, lots of things. You get condensation there. Condensation, water freezes. Gas lines freeze. You're not going anywhere. You're out traveling and you run into that dreaded road closure because of the weather. You may have to sit and let your vehicle idle for hours. You're not going to have that. So make sure that, as Eric said, don't let it get under half a tank. There isn't a reason to let it go down. I understand the whole economics and everything, and I'm not saying it that way, but do what you can to make sure that you've got enough fuel in your vehicle that you're not going to get yourself into that pinch. Same thing would apply if you're say you're, in my case, my backup generator is is propane. So always make sure my propane tanks are all full. Also, they run my barbecue, and stuff like that. So, Dalt, if you're listening, full propane tanks. Long story. We'll fill you in, Brad. So, yeah. What else did I have here? Unfortunately, it is that time of year where we're not talking about the S word, but we will be shortly. So service your snowblower before you need it, and it won't work.
Yes.
So your summer gear, like your lawnmowers, your weed eaters, if they're gas powered, those kind of things, do your winter service on them. Get your gas line antifreeze into them. Get your fuel stabilizer into them. Do oil changes if that's what you do. That kind of stuff. And then get your winter stuff out, specifically your snowblower. Check it over. Check the belts. A lot of people don't check the belts, and then you're gonna break a belt. Make sure it obviously it runs properly and it's gonna start and all that stuff.
Your shear bolts.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Mm-hmm.
Your shear bolts.
Yep.
On the front auger and the chute auger, check your shear bolts.
Yep.
Now is a good time to go and buy some extra ones.
That too.
Instead of searching around for half an hour with a magnet in the snow like I did last year.
Yep. I thought that was Pierre, but that was you that had to fix it.
I did it too. Okay. I had
a
new snowblower and I didn't remember where I put the extra shear bolts, and I was out there with a strong magnet looking for one of the clips. The bolt was definitely gone, but I had another bolt. I just didn't have a clip to hold it in with. And I was looking around for the clip with a strong magnet in the snow for about 20 minutes with a flashlight. I found it. And then the next day I promptly went back to Home Hardware and bought a 10-pack of shear bolts and clips.
Yep.
Just crank that up to, working on a skill. 20 minutes.
Yep. That's about the extra stuff that I had that I could think of.
I'm going through my list and everybody else's lists here in the notes as well, and thinking, we've touched on a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is common sense, but maybe somebody listening or watching didn't think of something that we mentioned, and hey, good. If we helped you out, awesome. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, that's the whole point of doing these seasonal swap out episodes, is to get everybody's mind kind of thinking towards, okay, it's time to swap out for winter season or fall season or summer season or spring or whatever's coming our way, just to kind of plant that seed and get you thinking, because a lot of the time it turns into, it's here and I didn't do A, B, and C already. So
and that was another thing that I meant to touch on and I forgot. Folks, don't wait till it snows to put your winter tires on. Anytime the temperature is under or averages under about 6 to 7 degrees Celsius, you should be putting your winter tires on, because everybody else waits till it snows, and you're going to wait, especially if you don't do it yourself, you get it done somewhere else. You may be 2 or 3 days before they can get you in and get your tires changed.
And that's
get ahead of the rush.
You know what? Get them done ahead of time. It's not going to hurt. A couple of weeks, running a couple of weeks on your winter tires, even if it warms up a little bit, it's not the end of the world.
Not going to kill the tires.
Nope.
I ran a full 18 months on winter tires. Just I didn't have the time and the money to be able to go and get summer tires. I ran a full 18 months on winter tires. And during the summer, it's louder. You don't have exactly the best steering, but who cares? I don't care. I had tires on the ground. And then the next winter came and I still had those same tires on and nothing happened. I just went through the winter. Following spring, took them off and changed them for.
They will. Specific winter tires will wear a little bit faster because the rubber's a bit a bit softer,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives you the grip in the winter, and they don't get as hard. So in the heat and in the summer, they will wear more, but not saying you can't do it. Not saying whatever. Just
don't do the
know.
opposite. Run with all season tires for 18 months. That's not really going to work too well.
No,
They're
not in Ontario, anyways.
They can say what they want about all season tires. I know people that run them all year round. I don't. They're not all season. They're 3 season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And actually, I don't know if anybody else on the panel does it, but my I get a discount on my auto insurance if I put specific winter tires on.
Yep. Yeah, most insurers will toss a
They ask me
discount in.
flat out. Do you put winter, like the ones with the snowflake symbol on them?
Yep.
Do you run them in the winter? And then, yes, I do. Okay, well, there's a 5% discount.
Yep.
But don't get in an accident and caught without them when you told them you had them. So.
Yep.
Don't lie.
There we
I didn't know they gave a discount.
Yep. Most insurers will.
Yep.
Not all, but most.
Something I'll have to look into.
Look at that. Saving you a couple bucks for the deal of the week. All right. With that, let's move into the podcast challenge, shall we? So, podcast challenge for this episode is do 3 things to prep your house or yourself for the inclement weather that is soon approaching. And, tell us what you did. Kick an email into feedback at prepperpodcast.ca.
Yeah. Interesting to see how everybody else works.
Yeah, absolutely. Upcoming events. We've got the annual Preppers Meet dates already for 2025. It's going to be July the 10th to the 13th. Location still to be announced, but we're really hoping that it's at the same location as last year, because
I saw that earlier in the notes and was kind of, I thought this was a done deal.
I don't know if we can officially say it's back at the same location yet.
Okay.
There's a very good chance that it will be, but we'll see.
So, yeah. I have no idea how PACCOM was.
No. I think that's Ian's. I think Ian was probably asking about that. So, don't know. Didn't go. Probably should have.
For my weather blurb, so I will fall on the sword and kind of say that this year's hurricane forecast is slowly becoming a bust from the forecast point of view. Why? I have no idea. All of the parameters for the storms were there. Got record temperatures, sea surface temperatures on the waters. Yeah, we're into, I think it's the El Nino La Nina. And anyways, all of that stuff was there. It just, the storms just had a really difficult time getting developed. And, things started off quick and we're, with Beryl, and we're like, okay, it's happening. And it just died off. There is some development there now. Things are starting to happen. We may get into a busy couple of weeks, but we're not gonna reach the forecast that we were at. So it's just one of those things. As we've talked about a couple of times, if you're anywhere in the Eastern Seaboard or in Central Canada, it's cold. It's cooled right down. So is that a sign that we're going to have an early winter or an early fall and cool fall? I don't know. I'll dig into some stuff and do some digging around in the next couple of weeks and maybe have a bit of an extended forecast, maybe closer to the end of September, kind of seeing where the model guidance is going and stuff like that. But with that cooler temperature, the good part of it is a lot of the severe storms have died off. Obviously, it's rare to get those severe storms in the cooler weather. That's good. I'm not seeing any real enhanced risk of severe weather coming for the next at least a week. Like I said, the only one thing that I'm watching is a possibility for some tropical development in the Gulf of Mexico that may or may not impact Texas in the next, say, 4 to 7 days. It's hard to say if it's going to happen. Like I said, I mean, the parameters are there. The Gulf of Mexico is warmer than it's been in a long, long time. And as I've said before, you've got those storms. The storms develop. Hot water is like throwing gasoline on a fire. So, but we'll have to see what happens.
Oh, fair enough.
But is it really a bad thing that we didn't have all these bad storms this season?
Absolutely not. But then you get, and it's absolutely a good thing, and you know, saves lives, saves property, all that damage, all of that stuff. That's great. On the flip side, you always have the naysayers or the, oh, you told me the sky was falling. You told me it was going to be really bad. It wasn't bad. So the next time you tell me it's going to be bad, maybe I'm not going to believe you. And then it's, it's tough. It's one of those, you know, I'm not trying to scare anybody and I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody. It just, and I mean, I was by far not the only one who was saying that this was going to be a big time hurricane season. A lot of the people who I would call eminent experts, like the tropicaltidbits.com. So Dr. Levi Cowan, he was saying the same thing, and it just didn't happen.
Hey, we appreciate you trying to look out for us, Jeff.
I definitely appreciate the updates you send out every so often there when things are looking like they're going to develop, because it keeps my head more of on a swivel, and you're a little bit more alert as to, hey, this might be coming, this might not be coming. Like, do we want to go out for supper tonight or go to the movies, or let's just stay in. Jeff said there might be some bad weather coming. If it didn't happen, hey, I'm not angry.
Yep.
And you nailed it sometimes. Some of the reports you bang on with. So.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that is what it is.
So
prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right?
You got it.
Don't be scared. Be prepared.
You got it.
Got it. All right, deal of the week. This is good timing. Cabela's has the Mr. Buddy heater off on sale, 22% off. So check it out if maybe you need some heat for, I don't know, a fish camp where it's freaking cold. They do run on propane though, so make sure your propane tanks are full.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying. Very important.
And yes, these are ones, yes, you can run them inside. You do have to be careful. They do have
low oxygen
shutoffs on them and that kind of stuff. But still, like any appliance like that, just make sure that you're using caution.
Oh, and another tip here from Hunting Upland. And good point again. Speaking of propane, everyone should be reloading any 1 pound tanks they can find. No such thing as too many backup heat sources. And also buy or make your own fire starter of cotton balls and wax. Fantastic tips.
Dryer lint.
Or cotton balls and Vaseline.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what you do on your own time, Jeff, is between you and the 4 walls, okay? All right. With that, I'll bring episode number 247 of the Canadian Prepper podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, of course, your favorite podcast app. I'm pretty sure we're on all of them by now. Please do submit a review. It does help other people find us, and encourages the wonderful algorithms that are YouTube and Facebook and all the others.
And we do record these shows live on YouTube, Facebook as well. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That gives you an alert when we are going live. Anybody wants to reach out to me, you can get me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or I am frequently on the Discord.
Denny's got a good one there in the chat. Dryer lint and sawdust.
Very nice.
Yes, another good combination. Good combination. If anybody wants to reach out, I got batbradcpp@gmail.com.
All right. You can check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. Get me there on the live chat, or you can email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. So thanks for joining us. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
and keep learning.